Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to the very first edition of Classic Album Rewind. So this is a show that we're going to be doing throughout the month of June. I seem to like to do these kind of month-long series, right? So June will be no exception. So here we are on the first day of June. I'm going to hopefully try to bring you one of these each day of the month, right? So stay tuned. These are mostly going to be done very early in the morning, my time. All right, so you guys have them when you wake up in the morning. I'm a little bit late to the game this morning, but you'll get it fairly early-ish for some of you, maybe a little later for some of the rest of you, depending on where you're from. These will mostly be by myself because of the nature of when I will be recording them. So before you start asking, well, it'd be great to have this person on this one, this person on this one. For the most part, I would say probably 90% of these are going to be done solo, just me. So you can look for these first thing every morning, so stay tuned for that. First episode. A lot of people asking for more David Bowie content, right? So but before I get into the album, let me just briefly explain what the concept of this series is all about. These are going to be classic albums that are probably maybe hide slightly in the shadow by their elder sibling. And what I mean by that is these are great classic albums that maybe are slightly overshadowed by an even more classic album that came before it. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of do a little rewind and take a look at these albums and maybe talk about why they maybe should be considered as almost equals to their big brother or big sister. So in this case, the album in question today is Aladdin Sane by Mr. David Bowie. Released April 13th, 1973. All right, for the RCA label, produced by Ken Scott and Mr. Bowie himself. Recorded at Trident Studio in London, RCA, New York City. A classic release in the glam rock genre, or subgenre, I should say. So this, of course, follows from a year before Ziggy Stardust. All right, the rise and fall of Ziggy Stardust. Most people consider the absolute classic, legendary David Bowie album with the Spiders from Mars band. Okay, so that's the album that most people pay a lot of attention to. That's the album that maybe the casual David Bowie fan latches onto. And I know, like a lot of the hardcore David Bowie fans, love Aladdin Sane, and that is, justified, right? But this series is more for the folks who maybe are not well versed in all the albums and really want to maybe dive deeper into some of these catalogs. All right, these are some of those real classic albums that you should be paying attention to that are just about as good as maybe the one in the catalog that everybody kind of usually says is the greatest, right? So here we've got the classic Spiders from Mars band, right? We've got David on vocals and all sorts of other instruments. You've got Mick Ronson on guitar and piano and vocals, Trevor Bolder on bass guitar, Mick Woodmansey on drums, Mike Garson on piano. You got some various guests on here. You got Ken Fordham on sax, Brian Wilshaw on sax, Juanita Franklin on backing vocals, Linda Lewis also on backing vocals, and G.A. McCormick on backing vocals as well. Really energetic, engaging album that, again, perfectly, I think, exemplifies what like glam rock was all about in the 70s. Especially in the early part of the decade. This is a very capable band with really great instrumentalists, but more importantly, these are songs that kind of dip into pop and hard rock, a little bit of kind of like Broadway vaudevillian splendor, right? There's a little bits of jazz on here as well. You got Watch That Man, which kicks off side one of the LP, first track on the CD. Good, rousing rock song. All right, great chorus. That is followed up by the title track, Aladdin Sane, 1913-38-70 ? Right? Longest track on the album at just over 5 minutes. Very jazzy album, lots of cool piano, dreamy, atmospheric, really engaging song, very intelligent song. Next, Drive-In Saturday. Good glam rocker. I mean, you want to kind of, for those folks who don't know really what glam rock is all about, this album is a perfect example of what glam rock is all about. All right, Drive-In Saturday, fun song. Panic in Detroit, good hard rocker, but again has that, based on Bowie's vocals, right? The kind of the slashing guitar riffs of Ronson, the fun, upbeat, sleazy nature of the song. All right, this is what glam is all about. Cracked Actor. Killer song, another good rocking glam track with some really fun, playful lyrics. I mean, the chorus is awesome. Crack, baby, crack. Show me you're real. Smack, baby, smack. It's all that you feel. Suck, baby, suck. I mean, just great chorus. So memorable. Easily one of the gems on the album. That finishes off side 1. Side 2, you got the kind of atmospheric, grand, majestic Time. Actually, that is the longest song on the album, 5:15. It's just a couple seconds longer than the title track. The Prettiest Star, another good glam classic, right? Great chorus, great vocals. You have a rockin' cover of Let's Spend the Night Together, of course, by the Rolling Stones. All right? Great guitar riffs from Ronson on this one. Good, upbeat. This is a great example of a great cover song that I think a lot of people kind of forget about. Then you have one of the all-time Bowie classics in the Genie. Okay, great chorus, good riffs. Love Trevor's bass line in that. The Genie, sit where it's at. Just awesome song. Great radio track. One of those tunes that never gets old. And then, of course, finishes it all off with the kind of dreamy, atmospheric, kind of poignant Lady Grinning Soul. All right. Great album. Just really flows very nicely. Does the album contain the out and out legendary tracks that this album has? Perhaps not. But I think in the eyes of many, this is the album that maybe was not played as much, but it's all better for it. For me, I think, Panic in Detroit, Cracked Actor, Watch That Man, The Genie, Time, even the title track. Amazing songs. And I think that this is a kind of overlooked album by some. For those that are big fans, you know how amazing this album is. I generally, when I look at my favorite David Bowie albums, I sometimes struggle choosing those top 3 because, I mean, you can't deny either of these, right? And, Hunky Dory is a great album. Diamond Dogs is a great album, right? It's just, these are just such classic albums in this kind of like subgenre of rock, glam rock, right? And so important to a lot of bands that came in the wake. And you listen to some of this album, some of these tracks here, and if you're also into Mott the Hoople, I mean, very similar type stuff going on here. Very similar, amazing stuff. Aladdin Sane. So this is our classic album rewind of today, the first day of June, the first album in this series. I've got plenty more on my mind that I'm going to cover each day throughout the month, so stay tuned for that. So remember, the whole focus here are these classic albums that kind of get overshadowed by an album that's usually deemed a little more classic, and it's usually the album that came right before it. That's kind of what we're going to concentrate on. It's like the kind of almost like the little sister of that Big Brother album, right? Or whatever, or little brother from the Big Sister, that sort of thing. So today it's Aladdin Sane, which is following Ziggy Stardust. So any comments or feedback on the greatness of Aladdin Sane? That's what we kind of want everybody to get. Kind of what we want to accomplish in these shows is for everybody to kind of talk about the greatness of these albums that we're going to be featuring. So curious to hear everybody's thoughts and comments on Aladdin Sane, what you love about it, all right, why you think it is deserving of classic album status as we kind of rewind and take another look at some of these albums that maybe sometimes don't get mentioned as much as their older sibling, right? Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Coming up tonight, in the Prague seat, our standing Tuesday night program. We've got George Lamy, we've got Anthony Ferraro, and we've got Chuck Alvarez and myself tonight, each revealing our 10 favorite debut prog rock albums. Those first albums from those cool bands that are just absolutely amazing. We've each got 10 for you, so we're going to go through our list tonight, so stay tuned for that. Tomorrow is new product review today. We've got brand new releases, new live album from Kansas. We've got cool live archival thing from Renaissance. All right, we've got a new Subterranean Masquerade, new cast. Good stuff happening tomorrow. Thursday, of course, is the Monsters Den. we've got part 3 of our look at classic Animals Attack films. All right. Friday at the Funhouse comes up on Friday with Martin Popoff and myself. And then, maybe some few things over the weekend, and the week starts all over again. We get the Hudson Valley Squares coming in next Monday and the rest of the week once again. So thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you tomorrow morning with another classic album rewind. Stay tuned for that and lots more. I am Pete Pardo. See you then.